What is up, Quartz? In this video I'm going to be giving a guide for this week's normal time trial, RC Bandito time trial, and the premium race for this week, totaling $300,000. Remember, the time trials can only be completed once a week for the full $100,000 payout. The premium race, however, can be completed in a limited amount of times with a 48-minute cooldown between each win. Also keep in mind that rocket-powered / flying vehicles cannot be used in time trials. So, starting off with the time trial this week, which is Power Station, I highly recommend either the Hakuchu Drag, Shotaro, or a Batty 801 for this time trial. Now, this time trial is definitely one of the harder ones, as these shortcuts require a lot of luck and precision, and on top of that, they don't give you much extra time. Usually you're about 5 seconds within the part time almost every time on a pretty decent run, so again, a bike will be the easiest. In terms of route, there's a couple shortcuts for this one. For cars, I recommend this route here, and there's a fence you have to hit with a car for this route. And for bikes, I recommend this route, which starts off a little differently to avoid that fence. Now, as always, I will be attempting to use either the casino podium vehicle or the prize ride of the current event week on these time trials if they're quick enough to complete them. So for this event week, we have the Dominator ASP as the prize ride, and the regular Spectre on the casino podium. Now, the Spectre is a bit faster than the ASP, however the ASP does off-road a little better for the shortcuts, so that's the one we're going to be using. Now, I'll be honest, it took me quite a few tries to beat it with this car, but that's the end goal. I always find it fun and challenging. This car isn't really made for off-roading, but I eventually got it done. Moving on to this week's RC Bandito time trial, which is Davis Quartz. As always, you need to own an RC Bandito in order to participate in these. So this RC time trial is pretty easy for the most part. However, there are a lot of high-speed turns and tight areas as well where you need to be careful. In the bumpy high-speed corners, make sure to let off the throttle. During most of the turns in general, just let off that throttle. Also, when you're going off some of the jumps, be careful with that as well. Let off the throttle before you go off a jump. And in those lower speed tight corners, make sure to brake. And also, when you use those brakes, make sure to press them in about halfway, not all the way, or you might lose control of your Bandito. And lastly, we have this week's premium race, which is Down the Drain. Now this one is restricted to the muscle cars class. I highly recommend either the Vapid Clique, the Yosemite, or the Dominator ASP for this race. Now this one is pretty easy for the most part. The hardest part of the race, at least in my opinion, is definitely the main jump at the beginning of the lap. So just make sure to angle your car to the left when you go off of that jump. And if you're getting slipstream before it as well, make sure to brake a bit. Also to note, the walls on the sides act like a curb boost, so make sure you're going on and off of them as much as you can without missing a checkpoint or hitting something obviously, and you get a very good speed boost from that. Now the fastest car for this race is definitely the Vapid Clique because of the massive speed boost it gets off those walls in comparison to most of the other muscle cars, which just really don't get that kind of crazy speed boost. However, I wanted to do it in the Dominator ASP, which most people have at this point since it is the prize ride, but you'll see the person I was competing against in the Clique, you can definitely night and day see the difference between the speed boost I get off the walls compared to the Clique. The Clique just hands down better. If you have the Clique, definitely use that one. And that's it, guys. The normal time trial is definitely one of the more tricky ones, but a bike definitely makes it a lot easier. Again, the RC time trial is pretty difficult if you've never done it before, so just make sure to let off the throttle for most of it. And this week's premium race might take some practice if you've never done it before, but overall it's a pretty easy race. Again, remember guys, you can earn over $300,000 between the three this week, and setting yourself the goal to beat them is always a lot of fun in my personal opinion. Let me know which one you found most difficult and what vehicles you used down below in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.